Hey everyone, and welcome. We're jumping right into a really important topic today. Can nature actually help when it comes to managing diabetes? We're going to see exactly what our source material says about this. This is a question a lot of people ask, especially if you're looking for ways to support your current medical plan. So let's break down the actual practical strategies that our guide recommends. No fluff, just the key advice.
Okay, so all the info we're digging into today comes from a health guide called Healthy Life. It's all about natural wellness. So let's see what it has to say, and we're going to start with, honestly, the most important piece of the entire puzzle.
All right, first things first, we're talking about the absolute cornerstone of this whole approach, your diet. The guide is super clear on this. Any natural support strategy, it has to start with the food you eat, period. So the guide lays it out really simply with a foods to eat versus foods to avoid list. On the eat side, the focus is all on whole foods. Think non-starchy veggies like broccoli or spinach, plus lean proteins to give you that steady energy. And on the avoid list, well, it's pretty much what you'd expect. Sugary drinks, sweets, basically anything that's going to cause a big spike in your blood sugar. Okay, but you probably saw that term high glycemic index and thought, what does that even mean? It's a phrase that gets thrown around a lot, right? And since it's so key to managing blood sugar, let's just quickly break it down. Think of the glycemic index, or GI, as just a ranking system for food. It's that simple. Foods with a low GI are digested way more slowly. So instead of a sudden sugar rush or a big spike, you get a much steadier, more gradual rise in blood sugar. And according to this guide, picking those low GI foods is a major strategy for keeping things stable. And that brings us to this really cool, simple visual tool the guide recommends. They call it the balance plate rule. Look at this. It's so easy to remember. Half your plate filled with non-starchy veggies, a quarter with lean protein, and that last quarter with complex carbs. It's a super practical way to put all this into action for every single meal. And to make it even easier, the guide gives some awesome examples. So for that complex carb section, the stuff that gives you that slow burn energy, we're talking quinoa or sweet potatoes. And for your lean protein, tofu, eggs. Great choices that also keep your meals from getting boring. Okay, so we've got our foundation set with diet. Now the Healthy Life Guide moves on to what it calls herbal allies. And I want you to really lock in on this next word because it's super important, supplementary. These are presented as things that can support you, not things that can fix everything on their own. The guide specifically calls out these 6 herbs, and I bet a lot of these look familiar, right? I mean, cinnamon, ginger, we all know those. The source mentions them because of their long history in traditional use and their potential role in, supporting your metabolism and just general wellness. So how would you even use them? Well, the guide keeps it really simple. You could brew them into teas, toss them into a smoothie, or for some of them, just take them as a capsule. Super straightforward ways to try them out if that's something you and your doctor decide is a good idea. All right, let's pause for a second. I really need you to lean in and listen closely here. We're shifting gears a little bit because what we're about to cover is without a doubt the single most important takeaway from this entire guide. So, this leads us to the million-dollar question, right? The one that gets right to the heart of it all. It's a critical point we have to clear up. And thankfully, the source gives a crystal clear answer. And here it is, the guide's direct, no-nonsense answer. I'm just going to read it straight out. No. Herbs support management, but don't substitute medical treatments like insulin. I mean, it doesn't get any clearer than that. Support, not a substitute. That's the key. And that brings us to the biggest, boldest, non-negotiable rule of them all. Before you even think about trying any new supplement or herb, the guide is screaming this from the rooftops. You have to talk to your healthcare provider first. It's all about your safety and making sure nothing interferes with the treatment plan you're already on. Okay, so as we start to bring this all together, what's the big picture? What's the path forward here? It's really about taking all this knowledge we've talked about and pairing it with smart, responsible action. Look, if you walk away from this explainer with just 3 things, I want it to be these. Number 1, a balanced plate is your foundation. Build from there. Number 2, herbs are a potential support. They are not a cure, they are not a replacement. And number 3, the golden rule that trumps everything. Safety first. Talk to your doctor, always. And that really brings us to our final thought, which is maybe the most important one. This isn't just about passively taking in information. It's about starting a conversation. So I want you to ask yourself this. What's one single thing from this guide? Maybe it's the balanced plate idea, or maybe it's one of those herbs that you're now going to bring up with your doctor. Because that conversation, that is the most powerful next step you can possibly take. Thanks for joining me.